Hey everyone, this is Christian Heimel, host of Caught Listening. Thanks for listening to the following podcast on Public House Media.
Hello. Welcome and thank you for joining the Confessions of a Military Spouse podcast on whatever day it is that you are tuning in. I'm your host, Jenna. I am a military spouse of 10 years, a mom, a registered and certified dental assistant, and a certified phlebotomist. Again, I just want to say thank you for taking me with you wherever you are and being here with me. If you find that anything in today's episode resonates with you, or if you know someone who might be interested in hearing this episode, please share it. As always, I appreciate any and all feedback. And so if you'd like to leave some feedback, please feel free to email me at confessionsofamilspouse@gmail.com or find me on Facebook, IG, or at publichousemedia.org.
All right. Welcome and thank you for joining me. As you may have noticed, I had a little bit of a different introduction today, and that's because we are doing a two-part roundtable discussion with some of our great friends and really close neighbors as well. We also have some four-legged guests today with us, so you may hear them in the background, but that's military life, correct?
Correct.
So, with me today, I have my husband, Dustin.
Hey.
Our good friend, Shannon Gonzales.
Hello.
Who owns Took Sweet Macarons. And our good friend, Eric Gonzales.
Hello.
So today we're going to be doing a roundtable discussion. We have compiled 10 different topics that we're going to be talking about. We're going to do 5 this time, 5 next time. We are going to randomly draw these topics out of a bowl, and I'm going to set a 10-minute timer, and we're going to discuss these topics for maximum of 10 minutes at a time. So, let's start. All right, our first topic is vacationing as a military family. 10 minutes on the timer and go.
Who's starting? Well, we've had a vacation.
You talk first, so go ahead first.
So, vacation in a family, I guess it really depends on your unit. So, with Eric's unit, he only gets leave twice a year, block leave.
And why is that? Wait, real quick. Why is that?
So we have 50 personnel that we have to coordinate.
But what do you do? Because
Operations
they don't know.
Oh, yeah.
They don't know who you are.
All right, so I am the drum major for the Paris Island Marine Band. I'm about to PCS to 1st Marine Division Band. Band is comprised of 50 enlisted and 1 officer, and we support ceremonies and community relations events throughout the communities we belong to, and much more, frankly. But in order to coordinate the operation schedule of 50 people, because you need pretty much everyone for performance, we have a limited time for block leave. And it's usually somewhere after a summer concert like 4th of July, and in between Christmas and the New Year being the other one. And now, of course, every band does it differently, and every place has different requirements and stuff like that, but we have a limited amount of time per year to take leave. And like my wife was saying, it's harder and harder for individuals to take smaller chunks of leave throughout the year.
Especially for birthdays and stuff like that, too. It's like you kind of have to condense everything.
Weddings are the worst.
Yeah.
Weddings are rough.
And almost didn't go to your brother's wedding. You know, that was...
Oh, that's true.
That was a huge one. Literally, I almost got in trouble for even asking me to take leave at that time. So
it just kind of makes it unique. Plus, like, you never really know when the leave is going to start, even.
Right.
Like, you find out maybe a month in advance, but by that time, you know, since you're flying somewhere, plane tickets are through the roof, or things are booked out for hotels that you want to do, because they always tell you don't commit until you get something in writing at least.
Yep.
Yeah, and another one is going on leave and going home when you're younger. Like, the older we've gotten, like, we've kind of steered away from going home on leave.
Absolutely.
Or for vacation, so to speak. Like, going on vacation now is going, like, somewhere, like, for a vacation, not just going home and spending time with family back home as a vacation. that was something that we did all the time when we were a lot younger, taking leave and going home for vacation during the summer or for Christmas.
Well, actually, I agree with that.
Yeah,
I think the world is way cooler than just hometown at that point. We've been all over the place, and some of the best memories we've had has been entirely away from home. Even though the people we love might be there, but I think, again, another thing that we've discovered is that as long as we're together, it doesn't matter where we're going, things like that.
Exactly.
And that applies to vacation.
Yeah. Well, I think,
Perfectly.
I specifically think about the holidays, too. And, if we go home for the holidays, we're spending all of our time running around to see this person and that person and this family and that family. And somebody's always
exhausting.
Yeah, somebody's always upset because we didn't spend as much time with them as we did somebody else. And we just spend all of our time running. We don't actually get to enjoy it.
Right.
So, I mean, he's ramming this year. Right over Christmas, which we're actually really excited about because we can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And we finally get to make memories in our home because last year we had a Christmas tree up, but we had just moved in beginning of December, and so we didn't get to decorate, which is why we decorated now. And, we'll get to make those memories in our own home.
Yeah.
All right. Question topic number 2. What is the most difficult decision your family has had to make? 10 minutes on the timer, and here we go. This is going to be a good one. Who wants to start?
I'll start.
Okay, go.
So it was about 3 years ago we made the decision to live separately. Not break up or get a divorce, but live separately to divide and conquer. It was better for our family, for stability for our daughter in school. And after doing it voluntarily for a year, I'll never do it again. It was rough. It was hard. I flew home, I'd say once a couple months or once 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
And it was hard just because Jenna was working full time. I was at work all the time. There was a lot of stuff going on. So it was coming home and there was nothing there. Go hang out with the friends all the time. But it was rough.
Where were you stationed at that time?
San Diego.
Yeah, he was on the Boxer, on the USS Boxer.
Where were you?
I was at home.
Where's home?
Illinois. And the reason we did that was because when we were in San Diego, we didn't realize that if you weren't living within this school district, you had to put in for school of choice, and you had to put in super early. So it was at the point where Ella was starting school, and we knew we were not going to get the school district that we wanted. So she and I moved back home so she could go to the Catholic school there and get a good start on education. Plus, we thought that he was going to the East Coast. He had a year left there. And we thought he was going to the East Coast afterwards.
Then the Marine Corps happened.
Yep.
Yeah. It was a handshake agreement of, hey, you do another year here, you get to go to the East Coast, and I was like, hey, kind of worked out. So that's what we ended up doing. Well,
yeah. So he was gonna come pick us up basically on the way to the East Coast, and then, like you said, the Marine Corps happened, and they were like, yeah, you're going to Camp Pendleton now.
Yeah, I didn't stay there for an extra year. PCA 3 months later, and I worked up in a deployment, and they came back out.
Yeah.
Wow.
And see, now we are coming to that decision of living separate lives with the whole pandemic. I mean, you were told, pretty much all said and done, all parties knew about it, just wasn't in writing, that you're going to be going to North Carolina.
That's right. To Cherry Point.
So, it being a 4-hour drive from here,
Let the record state that it's 6 hours.
Whatever.
4, 6, it doesn't matter.
Don't do math in public. But, still, a 6-hour drive, we can quickly get to do that, you know, and you're still somewhat close. However, the Marine Corps happened, and now you're going to be going over to the division.
That's right.
And with this whole pandemic that's happening, schools out in California are on lockdown.
Yep.
And we'd have to completely move the girls. I'd be stuck in the house with them. As much as I love my kids, I don't love them that much.
Right.
I'm like, let's just not, put ourselves in that situation. Right. We've got our community here, you guys included.
Network.
We bought this house.
Yeah, we're in our first home. We just hit 2 years on here that it's we don't want to give it up at the same time. But on the flip side, besides it just being a school decision,
right,
Eric has a chance to really develop professionally out at division. There's so much opportunity with the unit out there.
Yeah.
You don't have to talk about it, I suppose.
Selfishly speaking, if he doesn't have to worry about the home balance,
right,
dealing with work schedules, because we talked about, if we go back to California, I'd have to go back to work again. And corporate world. You know, as much as I loved the job I had last time,
Right.
there's just certain things that if I don't have to have that stressor, like working weekends, who's going to watch the kids?
Right.
You know, I'd rather not have to deal with it. So you being able to develop what you want with no strings attached, it's just one of those like weird things. Like 10 years into our marriage and you in the Marine Corps, that us splitting up will be really good for us professionally speaking.
I mean, you say no
But-
strings attached. I feel like it's going to be different strings than we're anticipating.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm going to have to call you every day. FaceTime.
Well,
as
I
often.
mean,
He will.
yeah.
He will, because I did. And man, if I didn't, whoo, buddy.
I think the girls
Worst-
will be the ones. Our
Most difficult decision, deciding whether or not I should call my wife.
Oh gosh, I think the girls would be the ones to like hold you accountable to that more
Yeah.
than me.
I mean, well, I don't want to read books to them still, and I want to, like, see what's going on in their lives and things like that, because that's what I would do here. You know?
Right.
I don't know. Technology is going to help with that, I suppose, because it's being easier and easier to connect to people from far distances. But
Yeah.
still, I don't know. I feel like that's going to be one of the bigger struggles,
Yeah.
staying connected.
Yeah, speaking of that, let me since we're kind of on this topic, let me ask you, like, when Ella and I were living separately from you and when you're on deployments and stuff, do you feel like any, I guess, ill feelings towards me because I am the one with her all the time and getting to watch her grow? And like, what are your feelings?
No.
Are they resentment? Is it sadness? Like,
No, I think it's more of a security blanket because, like, it's something that we don't have to worry about. Like, I know
Okay.
my child's with my mother or her mother,
your mother.
and-
Well, she could be with your
and
mom
she's
too.
she's doing fine. Like, you don't have to worry about that piece. Like, the only piece you have to worry about is like, is my spouse doing all right? Like, she getting taken care of? She has the support that she needs because we're not there to take care of her or check on her, that kind of thing. But I think as far
Yeah.
as like worrying about your child, not so much because they're with you.
That's a good perspective. I never thought of it like that.
And then the other thing I think is like a big decision. Like I think for us was buying a house, like just to pack up and move in possibly 2 years because we were on a 2-year rotation for a while. It's like,
Right.
is it worth the squeeze? And like sitting down and really looking at it, like as an investment, not just buying one to buy one, but buying a house as an investment as a military family. Like, yeah, we talk about it. A lot of families do, but at the same time, like there's a lot of risk involved with that.
You always have to think of it as a temporary situation too, but
Yeah.
it's still scary when you're making such a big financial decision.
Yeah.
I think that's huge. And then there was another one I was going to bring up, and I can't remember what it was. But I thought it was noteworthy to bring up.
I think it's, for me, now granted I've never deployed, the longest I've been away was 15 days, but we did that quite a lot. Every time I'm out like that, I sort of like, if the tables were turned, how good would my kids be with me? And I'm always thankful because, like, I don't think I could do it like you can, you know?
Aww.
I don't think if you had to leave and I
Thanks,
had to
babe.
stay here with the
Oh,
girls,
that's so sweet.
it would
It'd
be
be-
not as good.
But
It'd
then
be a
you
lot
talk
different.
about how much you would love to just be a stay-at-home dad.
Different. That's
So, like-
wildly different, though. Like,
So it's nice in talk, but maybe in actual practice, it might be a little different.
no. Specifically, like, if I was the one who had to manage their schedule, if I was the one that had to manage all the aspects of their life and things like that, together. Well,
Yeah.
if we were together, and even if I was a stay-at-home dad or whatever, we'd be doing that together. Even though I would have the time to do
I guess
that.
like even like the days like earlier this week you had a day off and you had the virtual schooling, like telling
It was
you
great.
like this is what you needed to do, this is how you do it.
That was great.
Yeah.
I mean, I really like doing that.
Sometimes for us, though, I feel like it's hard to find that, like, happy medium. Because I know, like, he's gone for 9 months. It's all on me to, like, run her schedule, run my schedule, you know, laundry, dishes. Like, you get into a really good routine, and then you guys come home, and it's like, okay, well, do I just dump all of it on him? Like, do I tell him? Do I dictate to him? Like, this is how we run things? Like, what is that balance there? And how do you...
Do you get resentful when he gets back?
Sometimes I do. Yeah. Because I feel like it's just like this big wrecking ball coming into this perfect schedule
Straight
that I've
Miley,
got.
I'm coming in like a wrecking ball. You know?
Sometimes. I mean, it's hard, and it's finding that balance, like I said, like, because there have been times where he's come home and I'm just like, here it is.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I know you get like that too sometimes, where you manage the bills and you manage the, I guess, home operations or whatever. But while I can go to work and manage 50 Marines.
I don't even know how I would even teach you how to do some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
I have like my own system, so it's not like that I have everything in like a spreadsheet. So like if something were to happen to me,
Right.
that hopefully you can figure it out. But
Well, here's the
everybody
thing.
has their own unique filing
Right.
system.
Here's the thing: I
Right.
would have to figure it out, and that's totally okay. And I'm not shying away from that at all.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I know you get resentful for that, and I thank you.
Well, we'll
for
see what
dealing
it's
with
like.
Allegedly,
We'll
I
revisit
can,
this.
We'll revisit this.
allegedly,
Later
I can
on.
do it by myself.
We'll have a
so.
follow-up, right?
Right? We can have a roundtable discussion with Eric zooming in.
Yeah, that's
Oh my
right.
gosh, that'd be so funny.
Okay, we are close to our time on this. So, let's move on to our next topic. Da-da-da-da-da. Okay.
No music, please.
Wow.
No sound effects.
Ooh, this is a good one.
Is it caveat off the last one?
No.
Oh.
All right. So, what made you join the Marine Corps? 10 minutes on the timer and go. TRICARE and BAH.
Stop it.
Yeah!
Stop it.
Just as like you stole the words out of my
Right?
I just
Okay.
want to get out of the barracks. Out the bricks, you know?
Okay, but for real, that question is clearly for you guys.
mouth. Dustin kind of talked about it.
So I married Shannon before the Marine Corps, but I married Shannon because of the Marine Corps. There's no way she would have married me if I hadn't. I'm not saying that's why I joined, but that was a big part of it. I think I was 3.5 years into a music education degree, and I was not doing well. I was a terrible student.
That really surprises me, actually.
Well, and see, to his credit though, like all of the prerequisites that you do, like your language and math and stuff like that, at the university,
it was terrible.
You complained about it. Like he's like, I would watch Cinderella and have to write a paper on it.
Oh,
like,
God.
Yeah,
how
so
much
it's
money at a
hard.
university?
Yeah.
I know. So you would just,
Academically stimulated.
so he would skip those classes, but all of your music core classes he would go into and do well. So
Yeah,
it's like
okay.
if there was like a whole choose your own type of classes that you had to do, you probably would have done really well.
And furthermore, if I had the discipline that I have now, which I'm going to school again and I'm doing
Right.
well, so there's that.
I do think that makes a very big difference.
So again, I didn't see my life taking off where I was at, and I knew I wanted to be with Shannon. And I'd always been patriotic. I was in JROTC in high school. I did the Drum and Bugle Corps circuit for 4 years. That's a very patriotic thing too. And I was going to commission. I was going to go to West Point. Had an appointment
Oh, wow.
to West Point, and I was like, I want to study the trumpet. You know, stupid. Not saying that's a regret, but maybe a regret. Life would have been way different looking back. That was in 2007, so I would have graduated college in 2011 at the peak of the wars in the desert. In the Army, probably a Ranger program at that point, because that's what it would have been. So life would have been way different. But anyways, circling back to the question, I didn't see myself without Shannon. I didn't see a future without some structure. And so
Yeah, and by that time we
awesome.
started dating in high school, so we were already dating for about 5 years.
Oh,
or
look,
so.
high school sweethearts.
And
Nope.
well,
I feel like there's a story.
there's
There
such a
is.
common thread. I feel like with like the military and stuff. There's a lot of like high school sweethearts, but I was very happy with working at the credit union I was at, and I was going to school. But seeing kind of like your passion and, in a sense, your performance with school, like not being as well as you hoped, and then when you were on tour with the Drum and Bugle Corps, seeing the Commandant Zone, you're like, wait a second, I
this
can
for a
play
job.
trumpet and be in the military, so you had the best of both
The
worlds.
confluence of interest, yeah.
You know, and
Not to mention, he's like a unicorn for recruiters. So.
I know, right? Golden Star, right, Justin?
That's right.
Not that we know anything about that, okay?
But it's like you saw that happen, and watching you like try to convince your mom that this was your best bet, I just saw like you get this like fire lit right underneath you.
I made the decision, and I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, me being a very logical person, and Dustin will appreciate, yes, the insurance and, steady pay and health benefits, especially because
That's right.
we were pushing 22, 23.
Oh, yeah, so you were getting ready.
We were not going to be able to be claimed under our parents' stuff.
And it was circa 2010, which is after the recession, so things were not good.
Yeah, it was recovering. It was rough.
Right.
So definitely the bennies. Damn bennies, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, so like for me, that just like it was peace of mind and security and stuff like that. Me working in the financial industry, I was like, I can get a job anywhere. This will be fine, And then you finally
Finally.
having something that's gonna like drive you to do well, that you can continue on and not just be stagnant. in it. Because, I mean, honestly, like, you playing trumpet or teaching, it's kind of the day in and day out of stuff. I could see you, especially knowing you now, how you developed in this career, getting really bored of it. And so here you're always on your toes. You're doing something unique all the time.
I'm an assistant band director now. I don't know if 23-year-old Eric would have been a good band director. I don't think so. No. And I'm good at what I do now. Allegedly, I'm good at what I do now.
It's like, I'm not going to toot my own horn, but...
But because of the lessons I've learned over 10 years, wasn't good at it immediately type thing. You know what I'm saying? So I again, life would have been way different. I'm not sure it would have been good. You know?
Yeah.
I hogged all 5 minutes there. That's you. You're up.
I don't think I'm going to take 5 minutes. Mine's pretty short and sweet. I started when I was in 3rd grade. Like, it really did. Like, I went over to a friend's house.
Let me just say that Dustin and I were not married pre-Marine Corps, and at some point we will get into that.
Maybe. So, I just moved schools for the 2nd time. It's 3rd grade, and I met a young guy, same grade. I stayed at his house, and he's like, yeah, man, when I grow up, I'm going to be a Marine. I was like, you know what? I want to be one, too.
Nice.
And, like, seen the commercial, the Dragon Slayers in the 90s, and, like, it was really cool. And, like, we didn't do a lot of research. We didn't have internet, but, like, watched a lot of movies, war movies and stuff like that growing up. And something I always said I was going to do. And, like, my family were like, no, you're too small, you're too skinny, you can't do it. And it was like, I was more influenced by people telling me I couldn't do it, and I was too small, I wouldn't make it.
You're too small?
Oh my God, who's
you know you
I was a freshman in high school, and I was like 5'0" and I weighed like 85 pounds. I was tiny.
Would have towered him.
And now I'm not. I'm like triple that weight almost.
Yeah, but people join the Marine Corps that size.
Yeah.
Just tiny. And, you know, growing up, telling my kid, and like, no one in my family had joined the Marine Corps. My grandpa was an Army paratrooper. My sister joined the Navy right out of high school. So everyone thought I was trying to one-up my sister. But everyone knew, like, this is what I talked about.
Yeah.
I was 17. At one point in time, I almost considered becoming an auto mechanic. So I had 2 colleges, or technical colleges, come to the house. Mm-hmm. And, like, I was ready to sign the papers. It didn't feel right. I didn't do it. My mom was mad. And then fast forward, like, I went through that phase. Like, yep, I don't want to do that. So I want to be a Marine. So the day after my birthday, well, I tried to join before that. My mom's like, nope, it's not what you want to do. You can't join. So fast forward to the day after my birthday, I was at MEPS enlisting and all that good stuff.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
It's all downhill. I mean,
so it's like because of your stubbornness, that's why you joined the Marine Corps.
Pretty much, because so many people told me I couldn't do it, and I didn't want to stay in my hometown and work at a prison or a mental health facility. Like, that's like the thing to do. Like,
it's
a lot of people,
yeah.
a lot of people stay, and it was a small town. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I like it and I do miss parts of it, but I didn't want to stay there. And, like, I didn't see my life being very good just staying there. Like, yeah, it could have been, but
that was one thing. Like, in all of our places that we've lived and traveled at too, we realized how great it was to get out from home.
Yes.
And how much you grow. And granted, like,
oh my God, it's crazy.
I like going back home and visiting, you know, especially like the different scenics. I miss the mountains so much. You know?
EGs.
Yes.
On listeners.
But, you know, but going back to live there, I don't think that's on my list of places.
That's what
to go.
we've said too, because we've talked about retirement.
We're going exotic.
And you guys will be in Africa.
God, no.
Because we've talked about retirement too, because, you know, he's over 15 years in, and we're like, okay, if we get out at 20, like, that's creeping up, but where are we going to go? Like, and it's like I told him, nowhere really feels like home, but people feel like home.
Yeah.
And it's the people that I want to be around. It's not necessarily the place. Like, I have no desire to go back home, but there are certain people that I'm like, I would love to settle down close to them.
So what's going to happen in like 4 years? We're going to talk again. Buy some huge land
yes!
Make our own little convent over something.
Right?
Yes! And we're all going to have free healthcare for the rest of our lives. We're going to have that retirement, so you know we're going to be rich. So we're going to have maids and chefs and everything else.
I don't know who this rich is. Looks like a 10-year plan, like Big Daddy.
Oh
Working at Hooters. You can be the Hooters girl.
Oh my God.
But, like, getting back to the original question here of, like,
why'd you join?
Why did I join? Like, to get away from my hometown, really, because there was nothing there. Like, I graduated with, like, 60 people. We were dirt poor growing up, and, like, we didn't travel. Like, the first time I was on an airplane was seeing my sister graduate boot camp, and then the second time was going to boot camp. Like, that was it. And I just want to get out, get away, and refresh, recharge, and, like, find who I was, and, like, find something I wanted to do outside of being structured in a small town.
West Coast then, yeah?
Yep.
Yep.
Let the record show. Both West Coast.
I like it. Good
All right.
observation.
All right, on to our fourth topic for today. Oh, this is a question specifically for Dustin and Eric. Oh, this is a good one. This might take all 10 minutes. All right, well, Dustin went to grab a beverage. An adult beverage.
We'll see how it
All right.
Or it's going to be really easy.
Everybody has
Maybe I
adult
go 5
beverages.
minutes.
Oh, God. We won't talk about how long you go.
Oh!
Anyway.
I'm in this picture. I like it.
That is not getting edited out either. Just for the record, okay? All right, so question for Dustin and Eric. Do you feel like your job matters at your unit, at national levels, in the Marine Corps in general? 10 minutes on the timer and go.
Can you describe your job?
Ooh. So, our jobs are kind of similar, like, completely different way they're ran and, like, different capabilities, but, like, very similar, like, with our jobs, I think. After talking with Eric previously, it's like being an operations chief for a unit is like being like a program manager. Yeah. So being a operations chief for a Marine Wing Support Squadron is very unique in itself. We're the farthest away from the flagpole, so sometimes we feel like what we do doesn't matter, but it does matter because it affects everything that flies in the sky and supporting them.
Tell them what you do, because I don't know that people know what you really do.
I just said I was the operations chief for a Marine Wing Support Squadron.
Sorry, that was me
So,
not listening.
Operations chief is, like you said, like a project manager. It's like herding cats and coordinating efforts and ensuring people are trained and in the right place and well equipped when they get there and things like that. And correct me if I'm wrong, that's not your normal lane.
No, it's something we usually step out of in our logistical field to hit for promotion. And there's only a few different units that we go to, and that's the CLBs, which is the Combat Logistics Battalions, and then the MWSSs, which is the Marine Wing Support Squadrons. Other than that, that's the only places that are typically placed for Operation Chief billets.
Yeah. Is there a formal training for yours?
There is not. No. There is not. And it's stepping out of being in a logistical realm straight to an operational realm. It's like going back to doctrine of MCDP1 of, hey, we don't drive operations. Logistics doesn't drive operations. We put constraints on it. It's being a completely different side of the spectrum when you're in the operations versus being in logistics. Like right now, like I'm jumping into both. Like I'm still doing both, but at the same time, like it's a lot of stuff to do. And
is this your first assignment as ops chief then?
Yes, it is. And it's, being in for over 15 years, being your first assignment, it's like it's still a lot to learn and a lot to read about.
Yeah.
So do you feel like your job matters?
I feel as though it matters at the lower levels. And what I mean by that is down to the company and the platoons, and then up to the group, and maybe to the mall. But like as far as that, like I don't think everything else is irrelevant. I think bigger picture, yes, do they care about what we do, but they just worry about us being trained and ready. They don't care about what we're actually doing.
So like deployment ready, pretty much.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, healthy, you met all your quals, etc., things like that.
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, it's a similar thing for me, except that we're so close to the flagpole. Sometimes it feels like lip service, and they're like, "Good job, you really mean a lot to us around here," and stuff like that. So at my unit, for sure, I feel important. It's a weird question. I think I was the one that came up with it.
It was one of your guys' questions.
Eric did it.
Pure vanity. I wanted to ask this one so I can answer it. No, I'm just kidding.
I love this.
But I think like Dustin though, like listening to your perspective is going to be completely different. I already know what you're going to say.
Yeah.
Oh, Shannon, please take it from
Well, I mean, you can actually see a national level of how valuable your unit is, and it's more so from our time over at Okinawa.
Yeah.
All the times that you would travel. You say it.
So it really depends on where you're at in the band. We're here at the depot, at the Eastern Depot here, and graduation was probably the best day of your life up to that point from boot camp, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, easy to say everyone remembers the day they graduated boot camp. And so we call it the greatest show on earth. Anything the band can do to support the most important day of all of these Marines' lives. I've been here for 2 years. That gives it about 40,000 Marines have graduated. So I've, in a small way, enhanced the esprit de corps and made graduation better for them, right? But that, and sure, it's easy to sort of say that out loud. It's hard to think about, and it's hard to understand that. Have I made a difference in these people's lives? I don't know, maybe. In Okinawa, you are, like a musical ambassador. You are the Marine Corps. A single individual is the Marine Corps abroad. I would argue that's the point of service in the Marine Corps, is service abroad, and we're uniquely equipped to handle that through diplomacy. So that's pretty cool. But again, when you're in there, you just feel like Lance Corporal Gonzales abroad. I'm getting TAD money on this one. This is great. It doesn't feel important. So the longer I'm in, the more I'm able to square up of how more impactful it all is. And I posted this on the birthday on Facebook, but the most impactful was definitely at the Gold Star banquet, where we were
at division at that time.
Up in the Marines Memorial Hotel in San Francisco. And we come in and cheer when everyone up. They're doing a banquet where they post a video and they have pictures of all their lost service members that they had. And it's a really sad time. But the band comes in and cheers everyone up afterwards. And we get done with our high energy set and we're like, we'll meet you in the bar. Cool. And I just see this lady and she's like, you guys are so wonderful. I was like, thanks, happy to be here, Recruiter Talk. And she's like, yeah, it means so much to me when I get to see you guys perform. It's like seeing my son again. And it's like, that was rough.
It's rough.
That's not,
And so it's important, being the face of the Marine Corps, being her son again. I don't know.
That's a tough one.
So
That's
do I feel important? Does it feel important?
Pulls on the heartstrings.
Yeah, I think it feels important, but it doesn't feel important in the day to day sometimes.
That's a really...
once you achieved your mission, which is your performance, that's when you can see the impact outside of the day to day functions of it.
Otherwise,
that's a really interesting perspective. I would have never thought of it like that.
Yeah. Well, and so even today, or this week, you guys doing the virtual?
Today,
sorry,
just played video games. Did homework, played video games. So
the virtual performance you guys did, seeing all the comments coming through, it. I didn't realize until yesterday missing live music. Seeing a big band at the market, and I was like, I was telling Jenna, oh, I remember playing this song, or oh, there goes that Barry standing up playing that solo. But still having you guys do something that our girls can enjoy, and I know that moving forward, they're probably still going to do some sort of virtual aspect. So even with you leaving, we can still watch you.
So, and another part of that, on top of all that, was when the pandemic hit, we were the only live music in the world. No one else was going out because they were in quarantine, but we were still playing for graduation. And our band consists of a bunch of 19 to 24-year-olds, so limited perspective, if you will. So as a project manager, getting out in front of the 50-person band and saying, okay, listen up, guys. We have to do well this time because we're literally the only live band in the world right now.
Right.
Don't check my statistics, please. But
don't do math in public.
That's the truth of it, though. No one else was doing anything. Everyone transitioned to performing online and things like that. But again, it's one of those, it's easy to square up and say, yeah, we're the only live music in town. But that's the truth. And it's hard to actually understand that sometimes. So, yeah. Meanwhile, I'm also just a staff sergeant, and I'm just some invisible Marine on the depot, just like everyone else, Anyhow.
Just.
So I want to go back to what I said. Do I think what I do matters? It does to a certain extent, but we're one of the overworked, underappreciated. What happens? What they see as the big shiny object is
the
F-35, the F-35, the Harrier, the F-18, the big things that make those things fly. We are the unsung heroes behind the scenes that are doing that. So what we do does matter. And if we don't provide a service, those things aren't doing what they're supposed to do, and then that's a whole nother big national issue. But it's just not talked about at all. So what we do, it does matter, but at the same time, it's not talked about.
It's not in your line of vision. You don't really see it.
Yeah.
No, and nor do the younger Marines and what they're doing.
So it falls to us to talk to them about that too.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to talk to our spouses about it too.
Super.
It's hard to make you guys understand what sort of impact what going to work and giving everything we have at work is. at the record show, I moved closer to the microphone. No, like it's hard to be like get home and then talk about what we do because it usually entails so much.
I think it's trying to relate it to something that like in the civilian world or something that they know, and like sometimes there just isn't that thing to relate it to, and it's so hard for us to try to analyze and break it down for them to understand. Like it just gets frustrating sometimes because they just don't understand it all, and you're like, it's so easy.
Well, and especially in your case, if you pull on the string is the F-35s are not flying, and the string after that is we can't fight our nation's battles. And you're removed from that.
That's a huge step.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
One huge step.
But it's only 3 steps removed.
Yeah.
And so there's a huge implication behind what we do. So I don't know. And it's hard to conceptualize for you guys.
That's a great question.
Yeah, that was a really great question. Okay, we've got one more topic for today. Let's see what it's gonna be. Drum roll, please.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, Jameson's like, get up.
Get them dogs.
Okay. Oh, this is for me and Shannon.
Perfect.
Nice.
Okay. Oh, man.
Lock it up.
Do you feel like you've had to sacrifice your career ambitions with this forced lifestyle? 10 minutes on the
Ready,
clock.
set, go.
This
Yes.
is going to be really good because
Yes, I yield the remainder of my time.
sometimes,
Yeah.
I just want to say before they start, sometimes I do feel bad for this.
I always do.
Yeah.
That's why I'm
We-
moving. That's why
Yep.
I'm moving.
Yes.
We have
it's
had
rough.
this discussion as a couple because it's something that I know I for sure struggle with, and that I will feel like I say 100% yes, I have had to sacrifice. Obviously, I'm a dental assistant. I've been able to take my work with me everywhere I go, and I love what I do, but I want more. And it is so hard to have more when A, you have to work full time just to be able to afford, where you're at, because that TRICARE and BAH just doesn't cut it. And neither do my good looks. And B, you're not ever in a place long enough. Like if I wanted to have a 4-year career or, go to school for something that requires a 4-year degree, we're never in a place for 4 years. So how do you, then you have to transfer, do your credits transfer. East Coast to West Coast is so different. So I feel like absolutely I've had to sacrifice.
So you're saying you're not happy in your job, though, that you're sacrificing more because you're not able to change careers if you wanted to.
Yeah. The resources are there, absolutely, but it's a matter of, I guess, finding that balance. Like,
What do you mean the resources?
Like, colleges are all around. There are programs and different kinds of grants and stuff available for military spouses. Like, there's, resources for military spouses going back to college. They have, like, career planners that will help them with things like that. But like I said, the biggest thing is not being in one place for 4 years and then always having to have had to work full time to be able to afford where we're
When would
living.
you have time to do school?
Exactly.
No,
You'd be actually sacrificing family time at that point.
Exactly. And
Sacrificing
now we have a
Yep.
kid. So who's in extracurricular activities. So it's like, okay, where is that me time? And then, if he's gone, well, shoot, forget it. Because at that point, I'm just trying to survive with myself and my kid. And then everybody's like, oh, well, there's, retirement, and which is true. And if,
But where's your retirement? How
Exactly.
are you contributing to your own retirement?
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like, okay, if he retires and I'm 40 years old and I go back and do a 4-year degree, I'm starting my career at 44. I don't want to be 75 and still working just so I can retire.
Right?
But you're going to be so I can be
Yes,
supported.
but then it's my turn. It's Dustin's turn to be the dependent at that point.
You're the sugar mama at that
That's
time.
right.
Exactly.
That's right.
Goals, buddy. Goals.
Don't
Yeah.
threaten me with a good time.
The first time that I felt the sacrifice was when we got super short notice that you were going to be going to Virginia Beach for your intermediate school. So, how I already stated earlier, like me working in finance, like I worked with credit unions mostly. And what I didn't realize at the time was, like I realized it, but I didn't really fully realize was with credit unions, because they're so small, you have to belong in one way, shape, or form. It's not like a national bank. So building into retirement, I can't transfer from another state to go with a different institution from where I was at. Working overseas in Okinawa, there was 3, but honestly solidly 2 financial institutions out there that I could work with. I went to one because of the transfer ability over there. but quickly found out that company was not my jam for a multitude of reasons.
Right.
And then
they sucked.
And then I went to another place where I grew professionally. I was given the opportunity. I had some solid mentorship, and that one felt more of like a team. It felt, even though like the company name, it seemed like corporate wise. Like I went to that island having a prejudice against that institution when I'm like, why did I in the first place? Like looking at it, it was a BS young and dumb reason. And I went with this other reputable company thinking that it was going to be, the bee's knees, but it was not for me, unfortunately.
Yeah, they suck.
But working at the credit union in California was...
You were killing it, too. You were like a top performer in the company, and like... It was awesome.
I'm not going to toot my own horn, but I did really well. Like what was really unfortunate was because you found out in like November.
2 weeks notice.
He calls me on the phone. I'm in the back with my boss. And he's like, so this opportunity came up that I can go to the School of Music. And this was another stepping stone that he needed to develop his career. And I'm like, well, you have to have this, right? He's like, yeah. So I'm like, well, I guess we're doing it. When do we move? He's like, what was it, 3 weeks?
It was 2 weeks.
2 weeks notice.
Yeah.
And so my boss is like sitting there right there. And I'm like choking up because I love her to death. Right. And I love the job I was at. I'm like, so this is my notice.
Yeah. Well, here we go.
God, I'm sorry.
And what was unfortunate too was that because of how that company does their sales, and with credit unions being not for profit, you get some bonuses at the end.
Oh, man.
And because I didn't work on December 31st,
I
had to forfeit my bonus, which would have been substantial.
That's rough.
Our branch got Branch of the Year, and I was not at that ceremony to celebrate as well.
Dang.
So it was, I did appreciate the love from afar. When they went to dinner beforehand, they're like, Shannon, we miss you. We couldn't have been here without you. I was like, I love and hate this at the same time,
Right.
I think my manager even got Manager of the Year. So and that was something that she's wanted from the beginning. Like, she was with that company for a year. She grew with that company.
Wow.
And then moving out here, it's like, oh my gosh, I can get a job and be with the company for 3 years. So it's like, how freaking fantastic is that? Like, I can contribute to my 401k for 3 years, and not have to deal with it. But when you got drum major, we weren't sure what his work schedule was going to be. Right. And so dealing with childcare and whatnot, from our previous experience, I'm the one that has to leave early or go in late for whatever reason, stay home with the kids from being sick.
Yep.
And granted that my boss here was super fantastic. I had a great support team with my coworkers. Just ethically, I didn't feel good about, hey, I have to leave early again. Yeah. Because you find that stuff out last minute. You don't, it's not like you can plan for this stuff. Oh, the general wants to have like all hands on deck meeting, and you guys found out like 2 hours beforehand. Right. So that means he can't pick up the kids. And so 2 hours, I'm like, have to tell him, right? And so I stepped away from working at the bank, and I started developing this little home bakery stuff.
Oh, by the way, it's not little. Don't let her lie to you.
Well, I'm very proud of how I've developed it. I'm very happy with where I'm at. Like, people have those things where like small business owners like makes like, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, no, but where I'm at and the amount that I can produce, I'm very happy with where I'm at. And
I'm also happy.
Your bellies are happy.
My belly is very happy.
So obviously, like, doing my business was something that we talked about with us having a separation soon, because in California, I looked at their laws. All of my customers out here, I'd become obsolete, and I'm not ready to give that up.
Right.
And let alone going into a place in California where my product is already pretty densely populated out there.
Yeah.
Right. How am I going to get a foot in the door even starting off?
Yeah.
So I don't want to deal with that stress. I'd rather go back to work for the credit union at that point, right? And just do what I want as a hobby.
Do you guys blame the Marine Corps and hold the Marine Corps at fault for this, or us individually?
I don't.
No.
So you're saying there's no animosity for that? Because I feel like
people just are is.
I mean, I will say sometimes in the moment there probably is animosity, but the one thing, Shannon made a great point. She got that call and she was like, I know you have to do this. And I think that's what people don't realize. Like, we as spouses understand that there are certain things that you guys have to do within your career to advance with your career. what you guys do is basically what supports us.
Right.
Like, I mean, yeah, I work a full-time job. Could I ever support myself? No, I like to spend too much money. That's where the BAH comes in. But anyway, but I understand that I know what you have to do in order to advance your career and to get promoted and to hit these certain goals for promotion. So in the moment, yeah, there may be animosity, but in the big scheme of things, no, because I know it's something that you have to do.
And like personally for me too, it's like it challenges me to be creative. Like I'm fully creative in what I'm doing now. I wouldn't have this business if we didn't get that call in California. You know, if we didn't get all of those, you know, twists and turns that happened to even come out here at PI too.
Yeah.
So
That's very true.
In a sense, like I'm kind of grateful. I love moving. I love exploring. I like the new and change of things.
Yeah.
Well, I guess let me say to all the listeners on behalf of your spouse, thank you.
I concur.
He's endorsing it right now.
Yeah. It's rough.
I mean, like, I wouldn't be where I'm at without your support.
Yeah, because you remove the military. What's left for us when we leave?
Yeah.
Our families.
Whatever we make of it.
And they sacrifice everything for us.
Keep it rolling.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's totally fine.
And I think with them sacrificing everything, like, what's left is like the cards they've been dealt from us, and like if we don't make it 20 or whatever, like that's all we have left is our family, and like it's whatever they've done while they've been put on the back burner for their careers. Sometimes like it's not a factor. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's not. But it's like they're what's left, and it's hard.
I definitely wish the Marine Corps would be more considerate of the fact that you guys have families, but it's not.
Just put that on our list.
Yeah, right. That's
list.
definitely, yes, that is definitely another topic. You know what? This podcast may just be roundtable talks for the rest of eternity because we have so many topics we can talk about.
Yeah.
But it's not a roundtable talk.
It's a square table.
Oh my God. And we're being technical.
You told us to be there, be square, so we turned the round table into a square table. It went a little, it transformed.
They are not incorrect. It is a square table, but I like the sound of a round table better. All right. Any final closing words before we end this episode? There will be part 2, so prepare yourself for that if you can handle us again. Any closing thoughts from anybody?
I do. Of course I do. This has been really therapeutic.
Yes.
And I recommend you do this with another family that you might be friends with, another military family, or even a non-military family.
Yeah. And
just ask questions and get it out there and talk about it. It's really nice. We did this with ourselves. It's like the tests, and it was like hour-long conversation. It was meaningful, and like it was awesome.
It is.
And this was great.
I think it allows, being a square table discussion.
Yep. Not really. Whoa, you hit the deep note there.
I think it just allows us to open up and be 100% honest. And really talk about the things that we all think and we all know, but don't really get talked about.
And I think as dynamic as our careers have been, like so different and completely different perspectives of not having similar perspective, but like same like meaning and whatnot, but like completely different outlooks of way things come down and the way we do things. And I think it's great, and it causes great discussion amongst all of us. And it gives, if you're listening, like it gives great depth to you guys as well. And
it's not a one-sided conversation.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not one perspective. There's 4 different perspectives here from completely different ways of thinking about it.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter like what unit belong to. You're going to find some commonalities with another person belonging to a different unit too.
I belong to the Marine Corps.
We're all at one unit.
I'm a re-enlist right now.
Shannon and I are head dependos. So anyway,
Stop it.
Thank you guys so much for being here with me